He's going to be able to take contact shortly after that too. He's getting closer to returning, which was a good piece of news to come through today, which we needed, right? And I really felt the Knicks could have, pulled off a win tonight, but unfortunately it wasn't happening, right? Steph Curry got hot early, and the Knicks just couldn't score efficiently, in the first quarter. Started way too slow. We're going to talk about the lineups once again, as I continue to talk about, is the offensive lineups and the starting five is challenged offensively with spacing. But the Knicks always make it interesting. Deuce McBride played really well today, hit shots. I thought Jericho Sims gave us a good effort and energy, but he made some poor defensive plays with his positioning and rotating late. And Golden State, they don't give you many margins for error. It's a very fine margin to be able to beat this team. DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, they gave us all their hustle, but they didn't have a great game offensively. Tonight we needed more shot making from them. And of course, off the bench, Bogdanovic had some struggles as well. He couldn't find his rhythm, and Alec Burks as well, right? Not one of their worst games, but yeah, we just couldn't get enough offense from them as well, unfortunately, right, as the Knicks failed to crack 100, right? But salute chat, salute Knicks Nation. We're still 10 games over 500. We're holding on to the 4th seed as the Miami Heat do battle tonight on the West Coast. We'll stay in touch with what's happening with that. But regardless, the Knicks will still finish the night in 4th seed. But that margin, that gap is closing, man, as the Knicks finish February 4-8, right? A dismal month that we need to put past us, man, and think about the future as well, right? I'm, really anticipating and hopeful that OG Anunoby can get back, man, within 2 weeks at the least, right? So the good news is coming through today, OG Anunoby is now able to shoot, pass, dribble, and do on-court activities. Not able to take contact just yet, but that's going to come pretty soon as well. So you would think once he can take contact, do a couple practices, right, he should be able to return pretty soon and shortly after that, fam, which I cannot wait. The Knicks need the offense, they need his defense, and we need him. We need his size in the lineups tonight, right? So Steph Curry got hot early. Jonathan Kuminga had a really solid game. The usual suspects for Golden State stepped up. Curry with 31. Brunson finished with 27. We'll give out his grade, and the rest of the Knicks tonight, and shout out the chat. And you guys give me your grades along with me, right? But welcome in. Glad you could join me. The streets are still buzzing as the Knicks season, right, enters the final straight. We're going to get some guys back, and we're going to be able to see what this team can do, right? Of course, it's been it's been a tough period for Knicks Nation this month, but we're going to preview March and the games coming up. As the Knicks should start to win some more ball games when everyone's returning. But we've got to do better. The guys that we are playing and are healthy have to step up, right? Have to continue to step up. As annoying, as frustrating as it is, it's definitely taken its toll on the players and everyone, right? Brunson gave it a go tonight. He didn't look 100%, to me, but he's always going to suit up. He's always going to fight. In a game like this, he was never going to let us down. Of course, he missed the last game to the Pelicans with neck spasm. He looked like he was moving okay, but I think he was a little rusty offensively tonight, Brunson. He was a little hesitant going into the paint as well. We're going to talk about the referees because they were really poor tonight. Again, allowed super physical play, and it frustrated the players tonight, man. Players didn't really know what was a foul. We had Bogdanovic hoist up a 3 after taking contact, expecting to get a foul call, and nothing came. We had Jalen Brunson get body checked by Chris Paul to end the half. Should have been a blatant call, a blatant foul, but wasn't, right? We had Kuminga post up Brunson in the restricted area or in the paint, no foul call, right? It was a clear charge tonight. So much frustrations with the officials tonight and the players, but I love the Knicks because they get on with it and they fight. We cut it to 4. Deuce McBride hit a big corner 3. But again, Golden State just kept executing, right? We lost our focus. You heard Stan Van Gundy on the call. Devo was gambling on the passing lane, and you can't do that with Chef Curry, fam, and his prowess from deep. I'm glad he didn't have a record night because it was looking like it was going to be the case, as the Knicks, only had like 10 points in the final few minutes of the first quarter. We started off, down 15, 0 and 15 or something like that. I lose count, but there was still a long way to go, and I knew the Knicks were gonna get closer and fight. We'll talk about Hart and DiVincenzo's inefficiencies, but yeah, the Knicks shot 36% from the field, 30% from deep. The Golden State Warriors got a little cold, and that's what let the Knicks back into this one. They shot 31% from deep as well, but they got some critical offensive rebounds, which really hurt us. And I thought, some poor decision making on the Knicks on the fast break. Deuce McBride, Josh Hart went into traffic. We went a period of time where we just couldn't execute a bucket where we really needed it. It was like 7 points. It was like 6. It was back to 8. And we had so many chances tonight. If we just had one more offensive weapon that was firing tonight, I think we would have had a better chance, to pull this one out. I'm frustrated, but we're still in the 4th seed. It's all about getting OG back and then Randall. And we'll talk about that tonight, fam, after we've given out the grades. But welcome in Daryl, Kevin, Almighty Finesse, Buzzer Beater, Knicks Nation, Travel Vibes. You know the deal, man. Smash that like button. The streets are buzzing. What are you guys thinking? How are you feeling? Daryl says we could have won this one. Bogey and Burks have to hit shots. More deuce is needed. Yeah, I echo what you're saying, man. I think Bogey and Burks, we got to start with them. Unfortunately, we just didn't get enough from them. I didn't think tonight wasn't a night where their decision making was poor, and that's been the case some of the last few games. Tonight was just that case where the defense from Golden State was really good, and they were also inefficient. Just not able to knock down those shots, like you said, and we needed that. In fact, there was one play that basically, sums up the night, which was a play where Bogdanovic had an open 3. It banked off the back of the hoop. It came back to Burks. He had an open 3. He missed it, and one of those goes down. It would have cut it to I think 4 at the time. That would have blown the roof off the building. And then Golden State all night just kept going back the other way, and scoring an and one or something like that. So I also want to mention, Isaiah Hartenstein, man, he wasn't his usual self tonight, fam. And that's to be expected with the Achilles, but yeah, we needed more from Isaiah Hartenstein tonight. Everybody was off on the rotations. But I mean, a lot of people do reference Golden State's offense with, the modern prototypical offense, fam, that a lot of people want to play with: ball movement, player movement, shooters, cutting, backdoor, fighting over screens, etc. So the Knicks had to be on their game, sharp rotating tonight, man. Otherwise, it was going to be tough. And unfortunately, we just could not execute. Credit to them. Obviously, they're a better offensive team. I think they run better schemes. Defensively, it was our calling card. We needed to really get some good stops. I'm glad Sims got some minutes late, but he made some poor rotations. One of them was a late closeout on Kuminga, and gave him an and one when it was only 5 points. I think it was 6 points, and that put it back to 9 as well. Then we went the other way and hit a 3, back the other way, and it seemed like the Warriors, fam, just hit shot after shot. But Deuce McBride really stepped up, gave us that energy, gave us a spark that we needed. He shot 6 of 8, 22 minutes. And as Daryl said, I think he deserved to play more as well. Now we're going to talk about some news. There's some more buyouts around the league. As February is coming to an end, the buyout season is also, done by midnight tonight, right? Mook Morris, Paddy Mills got bought out today. Now I'm going to refresh now as we're live. We probably hear some news that, of a team that they're going to come on. What do you guys think? Do you think the Knicks should make a run for one of these guys on the buyout market, man? Former Nick Marcus Morris Sr. and Paddy Mills as well, who's shooting 38% from three, bought out by Atlanta. Kevin says if you're looking at the big picture, you better go out and get Mook Morris ASAP. I think there's room. There's always room for more talent for me. You got Jeffries, you got Jake Toppin still on 10 days. That's going to expire. And then you've got one more open roster spot as well. So, yeah, I think, well, I hope we learn from what's happened this month, and that's like injuries might continue to happen. Guys might come back banged up and need to miss some time. And I know none of them are given to get minutes, but it's like for insurance. I think that's the biggest thing, man. For the playoffs, it's good to have more bodies, and more guys that can produce, more talented NBA vets as well. I want us to stack the roster before the playoffs too. Almighty Finesses, I don't know why Tibbs took out McBride for Alec Burks. Shake my head. Tough situation, but yeah, I'm glad Alec had a short leash tonight. A couple of blown assignments, and then that was it. Got his shot blocked as well. Credit to Golden State's D, but I think Burks was just a step too slow. I think the game looks like sped up for Alec Burks right now. He looks, and this is the opposite of what I thought, man. He's a veteran. He looked real hesitant on that possession. Had a couple open looks, could have risen up, but he waited, and then he finally pulled up, and the shot clock was down, and the Golden State defender just knew that he could rise up and get the block tonight. So yeah, I agree with you, man. Burks was poor. Deuce McBride was the one that should have played more as well. So that's eight games that Bogey and Burks have played in. Burks has been poor in basically every single one. Maybe one of them he's been a neutral, but he certainly hasn't done what what we brought him in to do. We're getting close to that 10-game evaluation. 8-game, it's been a D minus F so far in his third stint with the Knicks for me, and Alec Burks, right? For Bogey, you could see where he's going to help us, when everybody's back. He had the huge game in Philly, I guess, which helped us win a ball game. So I guess that's, a plus for Bogey. There's some little things that I want to see him improve upon, which I'll talk about as well. I think his decision making has been a little poor as well. He's not been the best on the playmaking side of things, but I think the 3-point ball will be the weapon, for us as well. Almighty said, look at Marcus Morris as well. So that's two guys that think it's a great idea. I think the Paddy Mills one makes a lot of sense too. A guy who can play make a bit. He could shoot the rock, like we know. Nick Yak says, I've been telling everyone Burks is not replacing Deuce McBride. Well, I'm glad, Tibbs cut his minutes short tonight. But 11 minutes. Could he cut them even more? We'll wait and see. But that's going to be fascinating, man. I think Deuce McBride is a better player, no doubt about it right now. Two sides of the ball. That's key. But Deuce is hitting shots like we wanted Alec Burks to hit. 2 of 3 tonight, and 6 of 8, right? But as we give out the first grade, right, we start with JB. And we got to give Julius Randle a shout out too. He won the Bob Lanier Community Award for his efforts for the month of January as well. So shout out Juju. We can't wait to get you back, man. We don't have as much news on Julius tonight, but we do have OG, which I said earlier, who is starting to practice now, and he's going to be back soon, right? But Jalen, I'm not going to overreact to a more average night for me, Jalen Brunson on both sides of the floor had some struggles, but I'm going to give him a huge break because the officiating was really poor tonight. The defense was super physical with him again. He's coming off the neck spasm and played 37 minutes. So, but even so, he was 11 of 25, 4 of 7 from 3, which is huge. 5 assists, 5 rebounds, 4 turnovers though. Got us 27 points on a minus 14 though as well. So tough, you're right. Wasn't his best game defensively, right? For the most part, the entire team was poor tonight. Trini gone B for JB. I think that's pretty close. I think, I mean, I give him a bit more slack because of the officiating. Great from 3-point land. He probably should have shot a little bit more tonight, did JB. And I felt like he was hesitant at times, which caused a lot of delays, in guys cutting and, the defense able to key in on guys as well. We just needed to trust the shot tonight. You get an open look, just shoot it. Tonight was just one of those nights, man, where we just had to out-execute Golden State to win because we know we're short-handed. And credit to everybody, we gritted it out. We're just short of talent. I mean, that's what continues to catch up with us, fam, with the New York Knicks, and we needed to basically, really get on a burner. So I'm going to give JB a B plus. On the night, gets the gold star, continues to play like our MVP, and first time All Star. But yeah, the good things for me was his 3-point shooting, ability to fight through getting whacked. Even drew a charge on Kuminga, like I said, but was a no call. Took a shot from CP3, a cheap shot, but his decision making was pretty average tonight. I thought he should have moved the ball a bit faster, and he also should have been more decisive. I think when he was getting open, he was trying to do the herky jerky, trying to shake him up. The length of Golden State made things pretty difficult as well. Now, good that he's healthy. Like, he got through the game. Like I said last show, man, he was going to shake off that neck spasm. Hopefully he's back for good for the long haul and for this run home, man. We've got Cleveland coming up as we're going to look at the road ahead later. We got, obviously, the month of Feb in the books, so I'm going to get that off the screen and get March in. And here we go, man. Sunday at Cleveland, then back home for ATL, Orlando. Some key games there, man. Philly and then Philly. Maybe OG's back for the Orlando one. Maybe he's going to be back for Philly. Let's hope. It'll be good to get him back for an MSG game, right? Just so we get him back before we hit the road again, fam. That's key. So, as I said, we're going to keep everybody up to date. We've got the Heat playing in Denver, which is good. The Knicks have a 1.5 game lead on the Miami Heat still. If they lose tonight, we'll keep that lead, 1.5 games. So we're still holding on. And the Heat have started slow, 9-21. The Nuggets are up by 11. So that's great. That's key. That, if the Miami Heat lose, the Knicks will continue that 1.5 game lead. But it's definitely going to shrink, man, as Orlando are coming, Indiana. The Knicks need to start winning, right? And we need to find ways. And I think with OG coming back, it's going to be that huge boost that we need, fam. I mean, I agree with you guys. Deuce McBride deserves minutes more. He's probably not going to start. Obviously, starting him with Brunson, you need the backup, right? But definitely increase his minutes. He got up to 22 tonight, but should have played a bit more. You see Bogey and Burks. The plus minus doesn't tell the story with the bench. Obviously, we did make a run. Um, but they weren't able to hit enough shots, right? It was Sims, it was Deuce, it was Hart, DiVincenzo, Brunson, uh, but everyone gave effort tonight. It was just a night where we did not execute as well. Uh, and obviously we didn't bring Burks in for defense. You know, he needs to come in and start hitting shots real soon. Otherwise, his minutes might shrink even more. So the next guy we'll hit on in the starting unit is Dante DiVincenzo. He was on the roommates pod. I gave that a little bit of a listen. Still got to finish it off, but heard some great insight on his time in the league. His calm demeanor, I think, it really suits the squad. DiVincenzo is a guy who lets his play do the talking on the court. He was going at Steph tonight, going back and forth. I like that little exchange with former teammates. But yeah, overall, DiVincenzo didn't have a great night. 6 of 21, 2 of 12 from deep. Right? A lot of the looks were heavily contested. I think that was a big difference between some of the great games and tonight. But credit once again to Golden State's D. But yeah, DiVincenzo's decision making offensively wasn't the greatest. But when you look at who else he's on the floor with, like he gets a pass for me, because who is he passing the rock to? I mean, if him and Brunson have already run off 3 dribble handoffs and the shot clock's going down, it is what it is. You just have to put up a tough shot. And I think that was like a lot of what we saw tonight, man. Guys would dribble, run into traffic. And again, when the refs are calling it real physical and Draymond is able to be Draymond, by the way, who had that, forceful wind up, who hit Devo, gave him a bloody nose. What else is new with that man? I just like his fight. Man, he tried his best. I agree, like Trini said. DiVincenzo, he's had so many great shooting nights where he gets that pass for me, but we certainly would have won or had a great chance to win the game if he had shot like amazing, tonight. So, I mean, I've got to be still fairly critical of him as well, because he's been playing really well. He gives you all of the hustle plays and the effort is always there. We're never out of the ball game, which is what I appreciate the most about these Knicks. Over this month, I guess the silver lining is they haven't hung their heads. They haven't let the shorthandedness really affect their effort at any time this month, where some losing teams would have just, I guess, mailed in some games or periods of the game. I mean, these guys just continue to scrap, claw, fight, and that's what we do, man. And best believe there's going to be that chip on their shoulder when everyone's back and we're full strength, and we can really get everyone back in their regular role tonight. But yeah, we're definitely going to need him to shoot well. In early March before OG's back, him and Brunson have to carry us to a few dubs, I think, to keep us, from sliding. I think that's pretty obvious. I mean, Hart will hit on next. But yeah, with DiVincenzo, as I said, it hurt us a little bit that he was happy to gamble tonight. But I mean, tough cover to guard Curry, Clay, as well as all the effort and energy that Devo is expending, man, on the offensive side. On the defensive side, tonight he had to run around, man, and chase tail tonight as well. So I think that definitely weighed on him, as well as playing 36 minutes, tonight. But look, hopefully he has a huge game in Cleveland. We've got a couple days rest. I think that's one of the best things to sort of come out of this stretch now. We've got a couple days rest, and I think, the Cleveland one, we need to prepare. We need to be ready. We need to battle, and that's an early, maybe a playoff preview fam, of what's to come as we bring up Hart, a man who played amazing in Cleveland in the playoffs last year. I always say it, man, Hart's hustle, energy is going to win us playoff games, as he showed. But tonight, you saw the effort, the energy was all there. Failed to hit some shots as well as Devo. Hart, let's look at his numbers, man, and give out his grade. Firstly, man, I didn't even realize, but looking at the box score, man, 47 minutes is insane. Once again, Tibbs was heavily leaning on Josh Hart tonight, man. 4 of 17. Some poor decisions on the fast break. But I get the frustrations from some of these guys. You know, he needed to try to be more aggressive and get some points easily on the fast break. Because, man, nothing was coming easy tonight. It was super tough. But yeah, as we look at the starting lineup, you know, obviously Hart's filling in at the 3. When OG's back, it's going to be interesting whether he puts OG back at the 3 and Hart back to the bench, or he leaves Hart there at the 3 and maybe take Precious out and put OG at the 4. That's going to be interesting. So tonight we didn't see Bogdanovic start, Burks. I think it's pretty clear now in the 8 games since, you know, getting these guys and since the trade that Tibbs is not a fan of starting Burks or Bogdanovic, right? It seems really clear that Tibbs ain't interested in starting any of those guys now for that offensive threat. His defense first. But yeah, like I said, man, the spacing and the lineups do suffer because of it. And a Hart and Devo, they're just going to have to make more plays, you know, in the meantime, as Tibbs will continue to put out those lineups. And we're going to need some better defense as well. Hopefully Isaiah Hartenstein can remain more healthy and not have to sit a couple games, but we'll wait and see. And we're going to talk about Burks. Don't worry, guys, as we're coming up. Hart, yeah, man, I mean, inefficient, 3 of 9 from deep. Got to the free throw line as he does. He's aggressive. 18 rebounds is exceptional. 4 offensive was amazing. 7 assists, 2 steals, 14 points tonight on a -11. So, I mean, one cancels the other one out. Like, inefficient from the field, but incredible on the boards and hustling as well. And as I said with Devo, he kind of gets a pass as well, because I understand with the lineups, again, you can only do so much. If people want Hart to shoot efficiently, but he has to shoot a lot, it's really not, you know, a recipe that we've seen a lot. Hart's not an efficient shooter as well. But if there's two other non-floor spaces in Precious and Isaiah, and Hart has the ball late in the shot clock, I don't think he can do much else. You know, he can't. You know, Brunson's already probably gassed from running around, right? He's not going to get the ball back. A lot of the time, Hart just needs to find the shot, you know, and we needed to be better on the fast break. You know, as the call was talking about tonight, the Knicks struggled getting any buckets easily tonight. Well, you kind of saw Curry leak out. You know, you saw the other teams really, you know, giddy tonight. The Golden State Warriors trying to get up the court quick and try to punish the New York Knicks. So yeah, man, Hart's grade, despite his inefficiencies, incredibly, you know, dominant on the glass. Had his ups and his downs, but I'm going to give Josh Hart a B for me tonight. I mean, keeps us in it. Again, we almost had a chance to win the ball game still, believe it or not. I mean, well, a chance to really make it interesting in the final minutes. Cut it to 4 points with about 3 to 4 minutes left. But yeah, the Warriors just continued to execute. They ran us around, and a couple of late blown rotations. Man. David says, I'm frustrated Tibbs isn't starting Bogey. while Randall and OG are out, need more offense in that starting unit. You and me are on the same page, man. I appreciate your thoughts on that one as well, because yeah, I think a lot of Knicks fans want to see an adjustment. I think it's fair what Tibbs did in the beginning. Like you give your veterans, the guys he trusts the most, the first chance. But I think yeah, we've just lost a lot of games recently because offensively we can't make things any easy. Unfortunately, I feel for Brunson the biggest because he's given it his all. So is Devo and everyone. But yeah, I mean Brunson, it just feels like he either has to put up every single shot, or he eventually has to pass the ball out back to Hart, who either was going to shoot it first time or he's going to dribble back into traffic and have to kick it out again. So, yeah, to your point, we are really limited. It worked against a couple games, shorthanded. We beat Indiana, which seems like a long, long time ago. And then they beat us again after that. We beat Brooklyn. We clawed, we scratched, we clawed a lot of games, but we did catch a break. As well with some other teams missing some guys. I mean Hart, he's a really good 3-man, 2-man. He's not there for the shooting. The 4, he's undersized, but he'll battle. He'll give you everything. Again, undersized tonight. But yeah, the length of Golden State, I think, was a big factor, right? They adjusted and really defended and contested a lot of shots well, tonight. And I think the refs should have called a hell of a lot more fouls too. Yes, to guard, yeah, a lot of the other team's best players, like Vaughn says, salute, and that has to be taken into consideration because, I mean, we are really, really short-handed at the front court spot, man, with the entire starting front court out, from OG, Juju, Mitch, Hartenstein banged up in and out as well. Hart having to play 47 minutes tonight is literally insane. And that just cements David's point and my point more with Bogdanovic. He's a body. He's 6'7", strong built, grabs rebounds as well. I know he's not the quickest guy defensively, but yeah, he should be getting a little bit more minutes, I think, than Hart. Even if you want to start Bogdanovic for some offense, sub him out early and then get Hart in, But yeah, the slow start just killed us tonight. 0-15 or something like that. If we had started a little better, like it was only maybe a 5-point game, 6-point game, and we just kept up, I think this game could have been even more interesting late. But yeah, I'm not a fan of the starting lineup looks as well, and I think it's putting a lot of pressure on the rest of the guys. In terms of the starting 5, everyone's going to have to pick up the slack, right? Precious has been really stepping up, but his lack of offensive play is hurting us as well. And that's his game. We know it. He's really been stepping up as a most improved candidate, in my opinion. But I think the minutes are starting to catch up with him as well. This was a guy who was out of the rotation with Toronto, comes in, plays huge minutes as well. So he's gone basically from coming off the bench to having to produce majorly for a sustained period of time. So Precious tonight, man. He had a couple of nice defensive plays, 2 blocks, which was solid. Again, 8 rebounds, 4 offensive, 3 points, 1 of 3 tonight. Yeah, he was going up against obviously Draymond, Looney. Kuminga's size is long. But I thought Precious was solid. He battled 25 minutes. Obviously defensively there was a lot of struggles. But yeah, he rode Josh Hart with the small ball looks, as well as Sims got in there and got some minutes as well. Sims was a mixed bag, did some really nice things, and then obviously cost us with a couple of late assignment misses. But with Precious, not one of his finest games, but not a poorer game by any stretch. I think he was pretty neutral tonight. So I'm going to give Precious C+. Once again, continues to play big minutes and step up on the glass, but yeah, again, offensively is quite limited in what he can do with two other non-floor spacers, fam. What do you guys feel? And Trini says B- for Hart. Yeah, very close. So I mean, Precious has been thriving. I feel because he knows what Tibbs needs from him, defensively in the paint. Now he did pop the 3 ball, which unfortunately doesn't look good recently. That's been a little disappointing for me. I wish that he could, knock down, the 3 ball, a 35% clip, but we're just not seeing that, unfortunately. So he just needs to stick to being in the paint, man. Dive to the cup, affect the game that way. Yep. Next up, the starting 5, Isaiah Hartenstein. Good to have him back as well. Obviously, he missed more of the rest from the Pelicans game. But I wonder, as Knicks Nation's been asking as well, what's the status of that injury, long term? Is it going to be a case of Isaiah, having to manage the minutes, and be fresh for the playoffs? Do we got to sit him on the second of back-to-backs? We saw Tibbs tonight try to manage iHeart's minutes, where he kept him fresh for the final 2 to 3 minutes of the game, hoping that it was still a close game. But unfortunately, it was starting to get away, at that point. Tonight, as I said earlier, man, I don't think Isaiah was moving as well as he can. But 19 minutes, he's clearly limited right now. He's a warrior. He's battling, and he's given us everything he's got. 6 rebounds defensively, none offensively. 2 assists, a steal, a couple turnovers, fouls, but 6 points, minus 18. Right, tough cover tonight, man. Talk about going up against Draymond. Talk about going up against Looney and co. Really, really tough cover for iHeart, especially with his limited minutes as well. So I'm a little concerned, if I must admit, in terms of when or if we're going to get the best of Isaiah Hartenstein. If we continue to play him and that Achilles is not 100%, what does that mean, heading in towards a tough month, run home to the playoffs? I think Mitch, is not able to run or jog yet. We found out tonight Mitch still ain't able to really start running. So he's further out and into the future as well in terms of when he can get back. I think late March is probably optimistic, or the earliest at this stage if he's not yet running, unless that changes quickly. But yeah, man, to the chat's point earlier with Mook Morris, would you guys be happy to give Mook Morris one of these open roster spots? He's with the Wasserman group. Paddy Mills is with CAA, so that could be something to look out for. But he's going to have to want to come, and the Knicks are going to have to really inquire, make inquiries about Mook Morris. His agent. I haven't heard anything from the Knicks beat, from Shams, from Woj, but we might find out tonight. Right, the buyout market is officially coming to an end, and you need to be on a playoff on a team to be eligible for the playoff roster as well. So it's going to be a case where we might hear something tonight or early tomorrow, fam. I want us to fill these spots. Please don't take any chances. Isaiah, as I said, is more banged up. We can bring a guy like Mook Morris, who could play some 4 as well. As we heard some news now, Ian Begley's reporting, Tibbs said he probably should have played Alec Burks more versus Golden State tonight. He referenced Burks' recent plus-minus in saying that he likes Burks' impact even when Burks is not shooting well, cited Burks giving the Knicks floor spacing and a secondary playmaker as well. Um, yeah. And we have friend of the show, B-Ball Breakdown, Coach Nick, reply to that news. And Coach is saying, it surprises me that AI hasn't started to become a key component to managing rotations at this point. It certainly shouldn't be done by gut feel anymore, which is, yeah, really interesting to see. Obviously, fam, we always say the eye test, like the starting five, doesn't look like it's got good floor spacing. That's the eye test. But Coach Nick's saying right now, AI, right, we've got all the technology and the data. We shouldn't need to, make rotation decisions based on gut feel anymore, because we already know who's buns, who's thriving with certain guys, what the game needs at this point, etc. But I mean, it's interesting what he just said about Burks. I mean, you don't seem to value his floor spacing to start the game. So I don't know what Tibbs is talking about in that reference. I mean, he obviously appreciates Burks's ability to shoot. He hasn't been shooting well, but you haven't been playing him a lot as well. So, and he's looked shaky with the basketball, and that's a big no-no for me as well. One thing for shots to just, go in and out, and they're heavily contested and that. But if you look shaky with the basketball, hesitant, indecisive, to me that's a lot worse. So yeah, that's interesting. Hopefully Tibbs is starting to pick up some of these things from losses and starts to play some more spacing. Right, maybe these guys can get into a rhythm before the other guys, the Avengers, return. But look, yeah, for Isaiah, man, he's going to get a C for me tonight. 2 of 5 from the field, 6 rebounds in 19 minutes, but not much else. Minus 18. As I said, he gets a pass. He's not 100%. I'm more concerned about his durability, moving forward now. So, yeah, that's the starting unit right now. We're going to hit on Deuce McBride. As I mentioned, Paddy Mills is another guy who's been bought out. Is CAA repped. Haven't heard any links through, the media or anywhere else, in terms of who's interested in these players. The Knicks, obviously they've got these guys on 10 days, so I think that could be a little clue as potentially the New York Knicks keeping the door ajar, keeping the door open for somebody to come in. But we have a guy who is producing right now with the scoring. The playmaking, is, as we know, is the weakness for Deuce. But for the guys we've got right now, he's deserving of more minutes. The fact is that he can hold his own defensively and knock down the open shot is key for Deuce McBride, and that's what he did tonight. 6 of 8, 2 of 3 from deep, 3 steals, getting after it. Definitely made things a little more difficult for Steph, and finding that open steal in the transition. Finished strong at the rim as well. And I love 2 of 3 from 3 tonight. We needed more shooting, just 30% tonight, guys. Salute. Buzzer Beater says Mook and Paddy, thumbs up. Salute. Yep, we got the spots. Thing is, we can appeal to some of these veterans more now as well. They know we're sort of banged up, we're short-handed, we're buzzing still at the 4th seed with a chance to make noise in the playoffs. So I think we tick a lot of boxes for some of these vets to come in and know that they can impact the team a little bit as well. Buzzerbeat also says tonight we realize why we need a Spider or a DeJounte. We need another guard to play opposite Brunson to run the offense and be able to score. Yep, I think obviously another playmaker is key. Julius does quite a bit of playmaking But yeah, when he's out, there's a lot of struggles. Devo's been an awesome sniper, catch and shoot, pull up off the dribble, but he's not the best playmaker as well, uh, and he's sort of limited creating off the dribble with his offense. But a guy like Quickly was doing that for us off the bench. Deuce has made a lot of strides. Burks has come in, but we haven't replaced a Quickly who can give us 15 to 20 points every single night and be that dangerous threat off the pull up from deep with the dribble penetration element as well. So yeah, I mean Mook and Paddy. I mean, if it's not them, there's some other guys still out there as well. Korkmaz. There's a Corey Joseph. I think Ish Smith is still out there at the guard spots. Or Tibbs either just trusts Deuce McBride more and plays him more with Burks, right? We've got to mingle in the bench with the starters right now because something's just not working offensively. Trini, A for Deuce. Salute. I think I got to agree with that. And that is an A for Deuce McBride. Really solid performance tonight. Deserved more minutes. But with the starters, I feel like he could have come in earlier off the bench or closed out and played more minutes earlier in the fourth. And also have him play more, with the bench, with the shooting, and maybe Alec Burks into the starting unit, just to give Brunson that extra spacing, or Bogey. If he wants to keep Hart and he wants to keep Precious with the starting five, then you keep Isaiah coming off the bench. You push Precious to the five and put Bogey at the four, and you rest Isaiah's Achilles a little bit. You get Bogey's size in the starting lineup, and you have Isaiah plays limited minutes off the bench. Either way, something's got to give for this week or two. But the thing is, OG Anunoby is getting close, man. As of tomorrow, he's going to start shooting, and then he can take contact soon. And then we know it's just the elbow. So in terms of contact and practice, it's not going to be like, Julius Randle's return. He's going to have to practice and take contact for a bit longer to test that shoulder out. But with OG's elbow, it's just going to be a comfort level where he starts shooting and it feels good. He gets that strength back, and I think that's going to happen a lot sooner, fam. We might see OG back, in a week. Right? I think it could be as soon as 1 week, maybe something towards week and a half to two coming through. But yeah, Deuce McBride, well done. Buzzer says Burks has 1 foot in the grave and the other on roller skates. David M says Deuce needs to be a little more aggressive, but he's playing well. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can't anoint him as a savior as well. We got to be realistic. He's making growth in his game, but he's not going to win us ball games and things like that. I think there's an element of being really, key and high on a player's skill set, but he's also not going to, change the outcome of games on a nightly basis, in terms of that. But he's still a key cog, and a really, really big contributor with that situation, right? I know Nick Yak's very high on his game. Says puts the backup point guard to bed tonight. I think he's deserving of the first shot. What I want to see the Knicks do, though, is to still get a third point guard in. You know why? Because of insurance. What happens when Jalen Brunson maybe rolls his ankle in a playoff game and then Deuce needs to start? Then you need a Patty Mills, or you need a Joseph or someone to come in and relieve you with some minutes off the bench, right? And I just think it's the Knicks wasting roster spots with Jeffries, with Toppin on the 10-day, and then the 15th spot is open. I think the Knicks just need to be professional and add players who can contribute, whether they play or they don't. That shouldn't be the determining factor whether you don't sign anyone or not. I mean, if anything has taught us this month is that injuries, when you get bit by the injury bug, injuries can just maybe keep happening. And then, guys miss time. Brunson had to play the playoffs on a banged up ankle. So we need to head into the playoffs with reinforcements. Yeah, that's my opinion on that. I think, you don't waste roster spots if you're serious about contending, and trying to go deep. Now next up, let's hit on the bench, and that is Bojan Bogdanovic. His game, he tried to make some plays again happen off the dribble. He did draw a couple fouls, but he also could have hit a couple more shots, right? I mean, that was the missing ingredient for Bogey's game tonight, man. 0 of 7, 0 of 4 from deep. I mean, man, some of them were just open, and it just hurt us, right? But 4 of 4 from the free throw. He's been really solid rebounding. Strong body. He can pull in a couple boards. 1 assist. Was a neutral, 0 in the plus minus tonight. So I think again the shot looks solid in terms of the looks he's getting. He's got to start knocking them down consistently, and I'm really needing him to step up in his minutes. I've been a little disappointed with his decision making. Sometimes he's trying to be forcing it a little over aggressive, getting to the cup. He just doesn't have that movement anymore. He's not as quick off the dribble. But the pull-up shots, I got no issue with the shot decision making on that end. It's more when he's trying to put the ball on the floor. Sometimes he does force it a bit as well. He needs to hit shots. Tonight he didn't hit anything, so he's going to get a D for me tonight for Bogey. On a night where we needed him to step up a little bit more and hit those shots. Yep, salute. Chat, right? Give us your thoughts. We shout you out. We can disagree on some things, but keep it respectful, and we keep it moving. And everyone's got their opinions. We all see things differently, right? That's the way I look at it. If we all were supposed to think the same, we'd all be robots, I never try to tell anyone that they're wrong or what to think, right? I mean, everyone sort of, looks at different things, that's what I mean. Everyone just sees things differently, right? And we can disagree. It's okay to disagree as well. But that's what makes us human. But yeah, man, I know there's frustrations creeping in. Everyone just has to be better. I mean, top to bottom. As I said, Brunson didn't even get it. Brunson didn't even get a top grade, despite being a real contributor. In the box score, he's held to a real high standard as well. I'm keeping a lot of these veterans to a higher standard because, they were brought in to do a certain role. And we've got to look at, are they doing their role? Like, is Bogey and Burks doing what they were brought in here to do? I mean, and I don't do any revisionist history, but my point I'm going to make is we didn't trade Quentin Grimes, to bring guys in to shoot 0 of 7, right? We could have kept Quentin Grimes to shoot 0 of 7, right? So at some point, it's still early, but these guys have to produce more for what they were brought in to do, because Quentin Grimes was basically an Evan Fournier. We're doing the exact same thing. And I think Bogey's been more of the solid of the two. And he definitely looks like a guy who can hurt the defense, hurt the other team's defense, I think, with his shot making. But he can also hurt us on the defensive side at times as well. But I haven't really seen anything where he's like, he's Trae Young or he's some of these other poor defenders out there as well. He could certainly get picked on a bit, but the fact that he's 6'7" and he's quite strong does allow him to battle. It just depends how the referee is calling it on the night, I think. But I like his rebounding. And again, he won us to help win us the game in Philly. But again, out of the eight games, we gave Burks a D or an F. And I'm going to give Bogdanovic, in terms of his 8-game tenure for the New York Knicks, I'm going to give it a C as well. We've seen some glimpses. We've seen one really good game, and we've seen more of just average, average to poor play, a little bit clunky. So yeah, that's my grade for the trade, for his performance so far. Bogdanovic has been a C. Burks has been a D minus or an F. But it's early. It's early, and things can certainly change, right? So next up, we're going to hit on that man, like I said, Alec Burks. Alec Burks. As interesting, these quotes once again. Tibbs says he probably should have played Burks more, which is disappointing to hear. Probably. I think Tibbs is experienced enough to know what's effective and what the team needs. And we wait to see whether he's going to make any adjustments, because that's Tibbs's knock, man, over the years, right? Can he adjust, right? And look, every coach has to be willing to say, look, I maybe got this wrong, it's not working. We need to adjust, and I think we really need that. Now Burks, let's look at his numbers tonight. Was solid in the plus minus, so was Bogey. But Burks was a +6, 5 points, 2 of 6 from the field, 1 of 3 from deep, right? 1 offensive rebound, 1 defensive, and an assist as well. One of Burks's more better games, I would say, out of the 8, but he was certainly not exactly, good either. So, he can be better than that. He needs to start really hitting the 3. That is where the buck stops, I think, with Alec Burks, right? Really space that floor out and get that 3 ball. Get the 3 ball popping. So, for me, I'm going to give Burks a C minus. C minus. He's had worse games with us. Hit a couple shots. Was a plus in the plus minus. As Tibb said, probably should have played a little bit more. But yeah, it was far from good as well. And the clock's ticking. Right, he needs to really get in that rhythm and make a big impact. Right, and I know when everyone's back, things might just really start to make a lot more sense across the bench and the starters. With these guys returning, OG is going to push someone back to the bench, and so forth. It's going to have a ripple effect on everybody. But yeah, do I think Burks is going to play much more than 11 minutes? I mean, even if the playoffs were to start today and everybody be healthy, I don't think Burks is even going to crack 15 minutes, right? Even on the best night, because you got Devo who's going to play 40 minutes in a playoff game. Jalen Brunson is going to probably play 42 minutes in a playoff game as well, right? So it doesn't leave a whole lot of minutes for Alec Burks as well, but he has to just capitalize on those minutes that he gets too. And then we're going to talk about Jericho Sims now, who like Deuce McBride gave us a good jolt of energy. And we're going to talk about his impact. Shout out chat. We've got a super chat come through right now. Buzzer beater. Appreciate you for the super chat contributions and your thoughts. Buzzer says, what is our best lineup since all the injuries? Great question, man. You mean since the injuries happen? The best lineup, I think, has definitely been... OG was obviously key still. Since then, I'm going to say it's definitely been Hart out there with DiVincenzo, with Brunson and Bogey. Bogey and Precious, or Bogey and Isaiah as well. So you have that little bit more shooting, and Bogey's closed some games out as well, or played some late minutes. But the ones with Hart, Precious, and Isaiah, they're certainly not. They're not the best lineups since the injuries, fam. It's definitely been. I think Philly showed us the blueprint, right? Getting Bogey in there when he's cooking. Let me know your thoughts as well on that one. Trini says B for Jericho. So Jericho's minutes were 3 of 3 from the field, 4 of 5 from the free throw, which, some guys did leave a couple at the line, which was frustrating. Devo missed 2, Sims missed 1. But yeah, he's not the best 3-point shooter, free throw shooter as well, 80% solid. But 2 offensive boards, 5 in total, and 3 assists, 10 points, and a +6. Little bit more positive than negative tonight, but he did make a couple of late misses on the defensive side, which is going to happen for a young fella. But he was certainly giving us more pep, more energy than Isaiah Hartenstein was tonight. And he's limited, like we said, we know. But Jericho, you notice the difference, man, with the live body, and his ability to sky high, give us that little bit of a rim threat, and shuffle his feet. So that's a big plus for Jericho. He did come out on the perimeter and was able to stick, and stay in front of his men as well. Buzzer beater's gone with the B. Nick Yak says Sims, for all his agility, gets an A for great minutes tonight. He helped Deuce McBride get us down to 4 before Isaiah replaced him. Yeah, I mean, the box score says it as well. He was more efficient in terms of all of his minutes, and he was really impactful. I'm going to give Sims a B+ for his efforts as well. A couple of the late, missed assignments hurt, but certainly he was more effective than ineffective, on the night overall. I wish he'd played a little bit more. It was pretty clear Isaiah just didn't have it going. Wasn't moving as well. And Sims was impactful with his size and hops athleticism. It's just that, I understand where Tibbs is sort of feel like he's caught between a rock and a hard place, because you could see he want to give Sims more minutes. But every now and then, he'll come with that missed assignment or the a defensive mistake, indisciplined foul, ill-advised turnover or something like that. But again, he's making progress, like Deuce McBride. The fact that you can play him in such a big game, with a big stage against, experienced veterans, going up against Looney, Dre, that tells you a lot. That, Sims is still a young player that is trustworthy. You can play him, but how much can you play him? Sometimes, it does hurt you when you overplay Jericho as well. But you know what? Young players they got to play through it. That's how you learn as well. So, yeah, I mean, we hit on Sims, we hit on Bogey, Burks, and Deuce. That's the 9-man rotation tonight. And I'm glad he went with 9 men. Obviously, Charlie Brown, Jeffries, Jake Toppin, fam, continue to be DNP, man. In a situation where we got OG out, Randall, and Mitch. You got Charlie Brown, I'm looking at you. Jeffries, I'm looking at you. And Jake Toppin, I'm looking at you. And what can these guys bring to the real roster spots? Now, Jeffries is on a 10-day, but he can't be on a 2-way. But Charlie Brown was on a 2-way before. And Jake Toppin was on a 2-way until the Knicks converted him to the 10-day as well. So as we keep the score check and we go around the league, let's look at the Heat Nuggets. That is a closer game at half time. It's 54 Nuggets, 49 Heat to close the half. So the Nuggets are still ahead, and it looked like the Miami Heat can still will find it tough to win that one. And it looked like that the Knicks can hold on to that fourth spot still. So I'm going to bring up the table now, and we'll look at the standings, fam. As the chat continues buzzing, Knicks Nation, we're holding it down like the squad is, but we're waiting for full health. The season's still a long way to go. It's going to be a really close finish, and we just got to claw, we got to scratch, we got to pick up wins in the month of March coming up. As the Knicks unfortunately go to 10 games over 500 now, but we've got a 2-game cushion on the Miami Heat, but we're the same in the loss column. So we hope the Heat pull off that loss tonight. I'm rooting for the Nugs. Philly looks like Philly with the same record as well. 33 and 25. Philly are 1 game back of the New York Knicks as well, and the Knicks are 1 game away from being in the play-in spot. So that's the truth. Unfortunately, like JJ has been preaching, shout out to JJ. Knicks Nation have been more on the realistic side that if the Knicks don't keep winning, we could fall down to the play-in. And it's not because the Knicks don't have talent still to win. It's just some of these games are coming up and they're tough to win. Like tonight, the Knicks played well enough in the second, third, and fourth quarter. If we were playing the Bulls, if we played someone like the Mavericks, even maybe the Lakers, the Jazz, we probably would have had a better chance to win. But we played the Warriors. They're clicking. They're 6 and 12. They're 12 and 6. I think recently. And as we saw tonight, man, they got weapons. They got the shooters. They got a lot of guys that can make us pay. So we just got to find ways to pull out dubs. Now, if we can pull off arguably the biggest win of the season and beat Cleveland in Cleveland, that's not only going to stave off the Heat a little bit, the Sixers, but it's going to reduce the gap between the Knicks and the Cavs, right? That is a true 2-game swing. Fam, coming up on Sunday night, fam, 7 p.m. Eastern in Cleveland. That's going to be one of the biggest games of the season for me. More to the point, if Cleveland beat us, I mean, it's going to pop out to a 5 game cushion. If we don't get guys back in the next week or two, it's going to be tough to overcome that. And then we look ahead to the 3rd seed. If we can beat the Cleveland Cavaliers, do you guys think we can? Let me know. If we do, it's game on for the 2nd seed still. I think there's still enough time, but we're going to have to go on a run, man. We're going to have to go on a run. Cameron in the building says, I knew the Knicks would make moves. This is what they do. Saying the season is over. Look at the schedule in March. Even when we get our guys back, the season is over. Man, I understand the frustration. I'm not giving up, man. I don't think the season's over by any shot, man. The thing is, it's tough now, but you got to take it game at a time, man. Let's get to the playoffs. Let's see where we finish. Certainly I agree from the standpoint of the season is riding on the health of Julius Randle. If Julius gets back, he looks really good. He can produce late in the regular season and then ready for the playoffs. I think we're still really tough to beat. I mean, OG gave this team a huge lift defensively, and is going to help us a lot offensively as well. We just need our guys back. We need to continue to grit out some wins until then. But look, Orlando's there, Pacers, they're going to lose games, right? They're not just going to go on some big run and overtake the Knicks, right? If the Knicks can just tread water, and avoid the play-in, we'll be all right. I think. Look, the Magic still game behind the Pacers, so they've still got one more loss, coming through. Also, I think next week is a little bit more optimistic. I think Atlanta at home, Orlando at home. Yeah, definitely a good chance to pull off some wins. Cleveland's going to be more on it's going to be more of the sort of touch and go. We really need to play well, really need to hit shots. And then Philly, which we know we beat Philly already over there. They're not going to have Joel Embiid back for those games as well. So think about if we beat Philly both games at home next week, then we go Portland. We can easily go 500 over the next 6 games, right? So out of Cleveland, ATL, and Orlando, if we can just even win one of those, we beat Atlanta. But then we can beat Philly both times the week after that, and we beat Portland. And then the Sacramento game is going to be interesting. Then I think that's going to be 4 and 6. If we win 4 out of the next 6, that's going to be 4 and 2. And that's going to have us back to 12 games over 500. So yeah, it's a case of the schedule's getting a little kinder for the Knicks. We have to capitalize. We can go on a little run, like Michael Drake says. The season's not over. I got receipts for all this. Salute. Look, we are on a downward spiral. I understand people are feeling like the Knicks season could be done. In terms of the health of everybody, it's tough to beat good teams with the current team we have. Right? If we don't have a healthy OG or a Randall, our chances of beating good teams take a significant hit. But the fact is, the good thing is that OG is going to be back shortly. Juju, we wait to see. It's a little bit more touch and go in terms of how he's going to feel when he's back, all of those things. But yeah, man, we still have 23 games left, or 22 games left. 22 remain, and I think we can easily still go above 500 in that stretch. Yeah, and grab the 4th seed. I think that still gives the Knicks home court. The Heat, the Sixers will continue to slide. They don't have Embiid. I mean, the Magic, we don't know what their schedule looks like. The Pacers are still going to be up and down. I mean, all of those teams that are behind us for a reason. They've got their own struggles. They're dealing with inconsistency. They're dealing with health problems as well. The Heat might be on the likely side that might, get healthy and overtake us. But yeah, I think the Magic have still been a bit of hit and miss as well this season. So yeah, man, we wait to see. It does look like the Heat will lose tonight. They're down, still a half to play, but 51-56. Go Nuggets. And I'm glad the Knicks will get a couple days rest. So yeah, Knicks Nation, I think this team really needs a couple days rest, fam. Brunson was busy throughout All-Star period. Isaiah's got the Achilles. You got a couple days for OG to get this practice in, get the shooting, get the arm more comfortable. And yeah, man, look at the next 2 weeks, man. Like I said, Cleveland might be a loss, but Atlanta at home, I mean, that's a very much should be a win. Orlando at home could be a 50-50 game, so that could be a win. Philly and then Philly is going to be big for the standings. And then Portland. I mean, if we can't beat Portland, we're going to be, really struggling. Sacramento, Golden State. Hopefully we can give them some payback. in their building, fam. Then Denver, then Brooklyn, and Detroit at home. And then the Raptors, the Spurs, Oklahoma at home. With, you think, Randall and OG. By the final day of March for that Oklahoma game, OG would be back before then. But if Randall's back by then as well, I mean, that could easily be a big win as well. So we can still go above 500 in this month of March coming up, right? Thankfully, there is, some really winnable games. There's the West Coast trip, but it's Portland, Sacramento as well. If OG's back, that's going to be an opportunity to pull out both of those two. So yeah, we haven't beat the Magic yet. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, it's a tough matchup. I think a lot rides on the health of the wings we've got. Our front court's been out. I mean, and look, in terms of what we've been seeing and play on the court, I'm trying not to take it too seriously, because look at the Knicks situation. Apply that to any other team. Which team in the NBA could survive with their 3 starting front court players all out, right? All of them. I mean, look at the Nuggets, fam. Look at the Denver Nuggets. If you took away Jokic, you took away Aaron Gordon, and you took away KCP, right, or Michael Porter Jr., right? KCP's their starting 2, but yeah, if you took away Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, and Nikola Jokic, right, the Denver Nuggets are going to go on a huge slide. They're not winning no ball games with the Miami Heat. You took away Butler, Bam, and their other Jaime Jaquez or Kevin Love. They're not winning any ball games. Philly as well. You take away Embiid, they've gone on a huge slide. So it's not really the Knicks, talent that's on the slide. It's the fact that we just don't have our starting front court, right? And it's tough to win any ball game without them. That's just a simple equation. And maybe the Knicks did give a lot of fans a lot of false hope when we started to win a couple of those tight games early when OG and Randall was out. But that was just because DiVincenzo and Brunson just put this team on their back. And they were close games as well. The schedule's tough and it catches up with you. But yeah, once we get each guy back one by one, and we can get to the playoffs outside of the play-in, we can actually make the playoffs in a 7-game series when fully healthy. This squad can beat anybody, right? Still, so yeah, we just need to see the team healthy, and we wait to see what happens after that, man. But we take another L, unfortunately. But the positive thing is OG Anunoby is starting to shoot. He's going to be back really soon, and we wait to see, man. Mitchell Robinson is not able to run yet. We wait to see what happens with him. But look at the schedule of March. We can win some ball games, right? So we see what happens, man. We get a couple days rest. Hopefully Isaiah can give us big minutes in Cleveland, right? And Alec Burks is overdue for a big game, right? Bojan Bogdanovic is overdue, right? The Knicks know how important this game is coming up, man, in Cleveland. If the Knicks can pull off a big win, right, the standings will get really tight, really close, right? And it's a great opportunity to catch the Cleveland Cavaliers potentially, and it'll give us some opportunities to catch them if we get guys back. But we do need to win to hold the Heat and the Sixers at bay, fam. Hopefully the Heat take a L tonight and we go back to 1.5 games above in 4th, right? But big game coming up, man. I'm going to predict that it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be close. I think the Knicks going to come out hard and going to produce early. We'll see if Tibbs makes any adjustments. But for now, we just have to take this L tonight and regroup and rest some guys up. And I think the Knicks will give it their best shot in Cleveland, with Atlanta following that. Dan, thanks for joining us, man, on the post-game show live. Salute Replay Squad chat for all your thoughts. Keep it buzzing, and I will see you on the next one. Peace, everyone.